somewhere between 100 and 200,000 were killed in the early months of the war in political violence. That adds up to about another 100,000 that were killed in political violence from 1945 to 1950. And so I mentioned in the book that they had been studying in Spain, scholars had been studying Franco's political massacres. And the figures in about 75% of the provinces or counties where they've been able to do this research come up to around 200,000. So we're talking
Franco Spain or Korea?
Franco Spain.
Willoughby didn't write about that, I presume.
No.
Yeah.
Korea's worse, in other words, and it happened often in full view of Americans. The worst incident that no review that I've seen has wanted to get into this, but I called it our Srebrenica because somewhere between as many as 7,000 political prisoners were murdered in a period of days. They were put into pits with our CIA people watching, our military people watching. The South Korean police did this, and then it was covered up, blamed on the communists. Even our official history of the war by Roy Appelman blames this entire Taejon Massacre. It's happened at the small city of Taejon, blames it on the communists. And then the Joint Chiefs of Staff classify the photographs of it, because the photographs make it clear who's doing it. And they don't let the photographs out till 1999 when a Korean finally got them declassified. So in other words, they knew what our South Korean army and police were doing. But how can you take a massacre of 7,000 people, turn around and blame it on the communists rather than stopping it when it was going on? And then the Pentagon did a video, a little movie called Crime of Korea. That's where you see the best shots of the pits that go on for like a football field. Pit after pit of dead people. And then Humphrey Bogart is in a voiceover saying, someday the communists will pay for this. Someday we'll get the full totals, and believe me, we'll get the exact accurate totals of the people murdered here. And we will make these war criminals pay.
And everywhere lay the murdered dead. The scenery of destruction is monotonous. Atrocity stories keep repeating themselves. How can I tell you? What can I show you of the 10,000 human beings slaughtered in Seoul? Perhaps it isn't exactly 10,000. Perhaps the total figure right now is approximate, if that makes any difference. In time, we'll get a careful tabulation. We'll learn the exact number of the slaughtered, down to the last corpse.
Now this is a complete reversal of black and white, done as a matter of policy. And I was astonished when I didn't know about it. I didn't know about this until
It reminds
recently.
one, frankly, of the K-10 forest in reverse, where the communists blamed the Nazis, and everybody believed them until we found out it was really the communists.
Yeah, I mean, it is an aspect of a very deep American responsibility for the regime that we promoted, really more than any other in East Asia. It was our creation.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.